All right, so you know that feeling, right? When you have to move?
Yeah.
And it's like a mix of excitement and dread.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, that feeling, that's where we're starting today, as we deep dive into The Boy in the Striped Pajamas by John Boyne.
Okay.
Now, you, our listeners, shared this book with us.
Right.
And what's so interesting about it is that it's told from such a unique point of view.
It is, yeah.
So we're dropped right into the world of 9-year-old Bruno in Berlin.
Hmm.
And suddenly, his life gets totally turned upside down.
Yeah.
And for him, it's not just moving to a new place. It's like his whole world is falling apart.
Yeah, it's like everything he knows is changing.
Exactly. And the book doesn't waste any time getting to that point.
No, it doesn't.
Bruno comes home from school one day expecting everything to be normal.
Right.
And who does he find packing up all his stuff but Maria,
Oh, wow.
the family maid?
Interesting.
And she's usually so quiet and in the background,
I see.
but she's packing up everything.
Wow.
Not just his clothes, but like his favorite things too.
Oh, so it's serious.
The things that make his room his,
Yeah.
And right away that tells Bruno and us as readers that something big is going on.
For sure.
Something he has no control over. It's like his personal space is being invaded.
Right.
And it's a clear sign that his world is shrinking.
Oh, I see.
And of course, Bruno is totally confused.
Yeah,
He's just a kid.
of course.
So he goes straight to his mother looking for answers.
Makes sense.
Like, why is Maria touching his things? What is happening?
Yeah.
And you can even sense that he's trying to figure out if he did something wrong.
Oh, so he thinks it's his fault.
Yeah, he's thinking maybe this is some kind of punishment.
Oh, interesting.
And that's so typical of how kids think, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
They see the world through their own actions.
Right.
So when something unexpected happens, they
Yeah.
think it must be because of something they did.
That makes sense.
But his mother's explanation as well.
What is it?
It's almost like she's brushing him off.
Oh, really?
She just says it's a great adventure and that father has a very important job, as if that explains everything to a 9-year-old.
Wow. Okay.
And, Bruno tries to be polite, but you can tell those words don't really mean anything to him.
Yeah. A great adventure doesn't really explain why your whole room is being packed up.
Exactly. And what really makes Bruno feel connected to his life in Berlin,
What's that?
his 3 best friends, Carl, Daniel, and Martin.
Friends, of course.
For a kid, those friendships are everything.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then there's their 5-story house with the sliding banister.
A sliding banister.
He specifically mentions that.
Interesting.
You can just imagine how much fun he has on that banister.
Yeah. Okay.
And his room at the top of the house with the view over Berlin.
Okay.
These are the things that make up his world.
His world, yeah.
And when those are threatened, his whole foundation feels shaky.
Yeah, makes sense.
And this isn't just a short trip.
It's not.
His mother says they're closing the house up for now. So at first it sounds temporary.
Right.
But then she says Cook, Lars, and Maria are all coming with them.
Oh, wow. So it's everyone.
The whole household is moving.
So this is a big move then.
It's not a vacation. It's
Nah.
like their whole life is being uprooted.
Wow.
And you can really see Bruno's shock when his mother confirms they're leaving Berlin.
Yeah.
He even interrupts her to ask about school and his friends.
Oh, he knows that's not polite.
He does, but he can't help it. His
Ah.
biggest worries are about the things that matter most to a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
His routine and his friends.
Of course.
And that interruption really shows how upset he is.
Right. It shows his priorities.
But even with everything going on, his mother is focused on manners.
Oh, really?
She tells him, don't interrupt your mother. It's like even in this huge moment,
Yeah.
appearances are still important to her.
Huh. Interesting.
It gives you a glimpse into their family values.
Yeah, it does.
Inside, though, Bruno's dealing with a lot of disappointment and worry.
Yeah. I can imagine.
And it's so heartbreaking.
What is?
He immediately starts thinking about whether the new house will have a good banister. It's such a small detail.
It is.
But it shows how he's trying to find something familiar in all this change.
Yeah, he's trying to hold on to something.
And then there's this scene where Bruno overhears his parents talking. They're in father's office, the
Oh,
woman
my.
that's always out of bounds at all times and no exceptions.
That's right.
And they're having a tense argument.
Huh.
Bruno can't hear everything, but he can tell it's serious,
Yeah.
especially since his father's voice eventually drowns out his mother's.
So there's a power dynamic there.
It seems like it.
Interesting.
So they finally arrive at the new house,
Okay.
and Bruno immediately hates it.
He does.
His eyes go wide with shock and disappointment.
Oh, no.
He describes it as completely desolate.
Oh, wow.
No other houses around.
Really?
No other children anywhere.
So he's completely isolated.
It's a huge contrast to his street in Berlin, which was full of life and people.
Right.
Now he just feels emptiness and coldness.
Oh, that's sad.
And his mother says this is their home for the foreseeable future.
Well, that probably means nothing to Bruno.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then she just says, this is where we live now.
Oh, wow. So final.
And you can just feel Bruno's heart sinking.
Yeah,
He wants to protest. He wants to cry and say that this is all wrong.
I bet.
But he doesn't.
Right.
His comfortable life in Berlin, his friends, the banister, the view, it's all gone.
That's tough.
And now he's in this cold, nasty house
Oh, no.
with whispering maids and an unhappy waiter.
That sounds awful.
And Bruno starts exploring the house. It's just as bad.
What do you mean?
There are only 4 doors on his floor.
Just 4.
His room, Gretel's, his parents, and the bathroom.
Oh, so no secret passages or anything?
Nothing fun to discover.
Wow, that's bleak.
And he even says to himself, this isn't home and it never will be.
Oh, man.
He's so unhappy.
He is.
So he goes to Maria because he's always felt close to her.
Right.
And he asks her straight up if moving was a big mistake.
And what does she say?
But Maria's very careful with her answer.
Really?
She just says it's because of father's job.
Huh. So she doesn't really answer his question?
Not really.
I wonder why.
Maybe she knows more than she's letting on.
Maybe.
Or maybe she's just afraid to say anything.
Could be.
And Bruno is getting really frustrated with everyone talking about father's job.
I bet.
He even says that father should reconsider his job if it means leaving their home and their friends.
Wow, that's pretty bold for a kid his age.
It is,
Yeah.
but he's just so upset.
I can imagine.
And then at one point, his parents' bedroom door opens a little,
Okay.
and Bruno sees a serious young man inside.
Who's that?
Bruno assumes it must be one of father's soldiers.
Oh, so the military is involved somehow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what's really interesting is Maria's reaction to this young man.
What does she do?
She completely changes. She stands up straight and clasps her hands together and won't even look at him.
Oh, wow.
She's staring at the floor.
So she's scared of him.
It definitely seems like it.
Interesting.
And then there's Gretel.
Bruno's sister.
Yeah, the one he calls the hopeless case.
Oh, right.
He thinks she should have stayed in Berlin.
He does.
He thinks she's nothing but trouble.
Oh, so typical siblings.
And he's always been a little scared of her, too.
He is.
Even though he doesn't want to admit it.
Interesting.
And Bruno mentions how he's often mistaken for being younger than he is.
Oh, yeah, I can see that happening.
And he's hoping that maybe moving to this new place will help him grow taller.
Oh.
So the teasing will stop.
Right.
Interestingly, Gretel actually agrees that the new place isn't very nice.
She does?
But she's holding on to hope that things will get better.
Oh, wow. She's optimistic.
And she mentions overhearing father say that whoever lived at Out With before them lost their job quickly.
Out with?
Yeah, that's what they call the new house.
That's a strange name.
It is. Yeah,
And Bruno's confused by the name.
I bet.
He asks, out with what?
Right. What does it even mean?
And Gretel tries to explain it in her own way.
How?
She says it must mean out with the people who lived here before us.
So she's connecting it to the previous occupant losing their job.
Exactly. But even the name of the house is unsettling.
It is.
And then there's the carpet in the house.
What about it?
Bruno hates the hollow sound it makes.
Oh, yeah, that can be creepy.
And surprisingly, both Bruno and Gretel admit to missing their friends back in Berlin.
Even though they fight all the time?
I know, it's kind of sweet.
Yeah, it is.
They're both feeling the loss of their old lives.
Makes sense.
And then comes a big moment.
What happens?
Bruno mentions seeing other children outside his window.
Other children?
Yeah, but Gretel hasn't seen them.
She hasn't.
She doesn't believe him at first.
Oh, wow.
And Bruno is very vague about where he saw them.
He is?
He just points towards something he calls a forest.
A forest. And he wants to take Gretel to his room to show her.
Okay.
Now, Gretel is a little hesitant,
She is.
but she secretly wishes she was back in Berlin.
Ah, so she's not happy there either.
Not really.
Okay.
So they go to Bruno's room, and they look out the window.
And what do they see?
Well, Bruno's first observation is that they weren't children at all.
They weren't.
Not all of them, at least.
Okay.
He sees little boys and bigger boys and older men
Okay.
who he thinks are fathers and grandfathers. And then there are some people all alone. He says they were everyone.
That's strange.
It is.
Right.
And Gretel just asks, what sort of place is this?
It's a good question.
It is.
Right.
And Bruno says it's definitely not as nice as home.
Well, that's for sure.
And they both notice that there are no girls or mothers or grandmothers.
Really?
And Bruno, being Bruno, thinks maybe they live in a different part of this place.
Okay.
But then the view changes.
How?
Right below Bruno's window, there's a nice garden.
The garden.
with flowers and a paved path and a bench with a plaque.
Sounds pretty.
But then suddenly there's this huge wire fence.
A fence?
A huge one taller than their house.
Oh, wow.
With wooden posts and barbed wire on top.
Barbed wire? That's scary.
And Gretel even feels a sharp pain just looking at it.
Oh, that's weird.
And beyond the fence,
Yeah.
the landscape is just awful.
What do you mean?
It's all barren and sand-like.
Okay.
And there are these low huts and big square buildings
Uh-huh.
and a few smokestacks off in the distance.
Smokestacks. That doesn't sound good.
And both Bruno and Gretel are just speechless.
Sure.
They don't know what to say.
Wow.
And Bruno, being Bruno,
Yeah.
says that what he sees from his window belongs to him.
Oh, he's trying to claim it.
I know.
Okay.
And they both agree that it's a nasty-looking place.
Yeah, it doesn't sound nice.
And Gretel tries to figure out what it is.
Okay.
She remembers her geography lessons
Right.
about farmers and animals and food production.
So she thinks maybe it's the countryside.
Yeah, at first.
But it doesn't really sound like the countryside.
It doesn't. So
That-
then she starts focusing on the people.
Okay.
They're both staring at the hundreds, maybe even thousands of people outside.
And that many people.
And they start noticing specific things.
Like what?
Groups of people standing together being yelled at by soldiers.
Oh, no.
Lines of people in chains pushing wheelbarrows.
That's awful.
People on crutches with bandages.
Oh, wow.
And people carrying spades led by more soldiers.
It sounds very controlled.
It does.
Yeah.
And Gretel is confused.
I bet.
She can't believe how many neighbors there are compared to their quiet street in Berlin.
Right.
And she even asks why her father would choose to work here.
Oh, she's so innocent.
She is.
Yeah.
And then Bruno points out a group of children
Yo.
who are being yelled at by soldiers.
That's terrible.
They huddle together,
Huh.
but the soldiers force them into a line.
Oh, no.
And then the soldiers start laughing and clapping.
Laughing. That's so strange.
It's a really disturbing scene.
It is.
And all Bruno can say is, how extraordinary.
Wow.
And then he turns away.
So he's disturbed, but also curious.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
So at the end of this first part of our deep dive, it's clear that Out With is not the great adventure Bruno's mother promised.
No, it's not.
They're in a cold, unpleasant house.
Right.
And there's this strange and confusing community right outside their window.
And they have so many unanswered questions.
They do.
Yeah.
About their father's job and what this place really is.
Right.
And the biggest mysteries are,
You're right.
why do they have to move so suddenly?
Yeah.
Who are all these people in striped pajamas?
Mm.
And what's with that huge fence?
So many questions.
I know.
Yeah.
And you can really feel the contrast
Between what?
between Bruno's memories of his happy life in Berlin
Right.
and this new scary reality.
Yeah. It's a big difference.
He's confused and uneasy,
For sure.
and he's starting to realize that something is very wrong. So I want you to imagine something.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine you're 9-year-old Bruno.
Yeah.
Suddenly, you're taken from everything you know.
Right.
And you're put in this strange and unsettling place.
Yeah.
What would you think?
That's a good question.
How would you deal with this new reality?
Yeah.
Especially when it's so different from what you're used to.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
About how we see the world
Mhm.
and how we cope when things change so drastically,
Yeah.
even when those changes are scary.
I